subs in here, some viewers in here. If not, as always, you'll be able to view it a little bit later down the road whenever it finally loads, when YouTube decides that it wants to load. But we're going to talk a little bit of Steelers today. We're going to talk a little bit about this Thursday night matchup. And as always, we have Sean. Thanks for coming back, Sean. Appreciate you. What's new?
For having me. What's up, Steeler Nation? How you guys doing?
What's new, Sean? Anything exciting in Hawaii, my friend?
It's hot today, man. It's I know it's winter time, but I'm having a hard time keeping cool today. So I got the fan blowing on me.
Oh, you dog, my friend. It is very bitter cold. When you go out here, you freeze your ass off, dude, and it's very cold. It's supposed to heat up into the 50s, so that'll be like a tropical heat wave for us here in the big town of Pittsburgh, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, all the surrounding areas. But again, we're going to talk Steelers. We're going to talk some keys to victory. We're going to talk about some of the things that the Steelers need to do to be successful here Thursday night. And also some of the big injury news that's been coming out of Pittsburgh. But let's start out with one big thing. Ben Roethlisberger. He officially retires from the NFL today. And I want to talk about one thing. Let's talk about one of your favorite Big Ben moments of all time there, Sean. Give us one of your favorite moments ever.
Hitting Santonio Holmes, man, in the back of the end zone for the big win, man. I can't beat that.
Yeah, that's probably the tops for sure. No doubt about it.
That was like such a live by the sword, die by the sword moment. I mean, that play could have gone either way. It was. I'll never forget just being on the edge of my couch and literally just freaking out, bro. And yeah, it was the best.
I agree. That has to be one of the best moments. That drive in general, where he shrugging people off, rolling around all over in the pocket, able to find Santonio Holmes several times on that drive. Just something special. I got to say, my favorite Big Ben moment is when he torched the Indianapolis Colts and got 6 touchdown passes in one game. I think he had them 2 weeks in a row. It was like 5 or 6 that he had 2 weeks in a row. That was probably my favorite all-time Ben Roethlisberger, sheer absolute dominance. But Ben, gone. He's done. All you Steeler fans out there that hope that Big Ben returns to save the Steelers this season here in 2023, you can put that to bed because that's not going to happen anymore. All right, let's start with today's Steelers, the 2023 Steelers, the Steelers team that we see going into the Thursday night football game, facing the New England Patriots in a game where they got some injuries on the offensive line. Isaac Sumalu, Mason Cole, thank God. Yeah, but he's done. So the Steelers are going to have to adjust on the offensive line. They're going to have to bring in Nate Herbig. I think he's played well so far when he's got in. Or Spencer Anderson, a 7th round pick. What do you think, Sean? Do you think the Steelers should go to a 7th round pick in Spencer Anderson and give him a shot? Or do you think that they should just stick with a veteran and Nate Herbig?
I'd like to see him stick with the veteran Nate Herbig. I really like what the Herbig brothers bring to the team. And why risk it right now with somebody new when we know the Herbigs are solid?
Right, and I agree. I think Spencer Anderson could go to guard, fill in for Isaac Sumalu, a little bit less of a role in terms of calling out formations on the defense, calling out protection schemes, and a lot less pressure, in my opinion, than being an NFL center. Nate Herbig, he's been consistent when he's been a center at times, so he's not been there a ton, but we'll see how that rolls, and we'll see if the Steelers do stick with him. With Mason Cole gone, do you think anything's an upgrade? I mean, honestly, the way he's played lately, do you think any way they go, do you think it's an upgrade?
I'm curious to see, but yeah, I'd have to say it is an upgrade because it gives us a little bit more faith to go back into that shotgun formation. I was really worried about how they were going to handle that with Mason Cole under center. So the fact that they're making moves on that makes me feel a lot better. They probably already seen something better in practice for Tomlin to go ahead and pull the trigger on this.
Yeah. Well, Mason Cole battling that injury, we get it. But, like, I think, though, that Nate Herbig's probably the best answer because you do have James Daniels. You do have Spencer Anderson and Nate Herbig. All 3 guys can play center. It is what it is, but we'll see. Hopefully they'll get some consistency finally. That's the thing. And that's the thing this Steelers team, I think, has lacked throughout this season is discipline and consistency. And I think that that's a big thing that they have to find. You have Mike Tomlin, I feel for the real first time in his career, just so inconsistent on a everyday basis, an every week basis. And I think that that's becoming trouble here. So let's continue with this theme of the offense. We will get to the Kenny Pickett stuff, but let's continue with Najee Harris with that knee injury listed on the injury report yesterday on Tuesday, but didn't go, didn't practice, didn't go again today. Do you think Najee could still play? I think he could still play without any reps. He takes a lot of abuse. But what do you think that that means for a young guy in Jalen Warren, a second-year player that showed a lot of promise? Do you think that this could be his big shot if Najee doesn't play?
Yeah, I think it would be a great chance for him to show what he can do with, him taking all the reps for a whole game instead of splitting them 50-50 or however they're doing that. But, he could be, licking his chops, ready to go. And, I really like Najee Harris and I'd like to see him out there, but I've been wanting to kind of see what Jalen can do.
I agree. And that would be the first time that we actually get to see Jalen Warren with a full workload, a 25 carry plus probably workload for Jalen Warren. And I think that you could see big things out of him, especially running backs are very, they need to be in that rhythm. They need to be in that groove. And I think that that could be big for Jalen Warren because I don't think we've ever really got to see him in an opportunity to where he could get in that groove. And I think that, that could be real big. And hopefully, we'll still see both backs, but that brings in Godwin and Boku. I think that's how you say is Baku or something like that. I can never pronounce his last name. Forgive me, guys. But I we can see him probably being the number two since Anthony McFarland has been out the past 2 weeks. Again, he has been bit by the injury bug throughout his career. We've never really seen that guy consistent in the lineup at all. So with Godwin and Buku or whatever his name is, we'll see if the Steelers can still have that consistency at the run game, hopefully. But let's talk about the one everybody probably wants to talk about, and that is the start of Mitchell Trubisky. He's coming in relief of Kenny Pickett after Kenny Pickett undergoes that tightrope surgery. Have we seen the last of Kenny Pickett in your eyes, Sean?
Um, I think maybe possibly this season, but that's only if Mitch Trubisky comes out there and starts to perform. If he's performing and he's, playing good football, why even take him out? Because it seems to me like Kenny was struggling a lot the past few weeks. In
Mhm.
fact, this whole season, he's shown, glimpses of success here and there, but again, like you said, it hasn't been consistent. And what I saw from Mitch Trubisky last week, wasn't even a full week ago. He went 11 for 17 for 117 yards. He had a touchdown and he finished with 104.3 QBR, bro.
Yeah, it's. I think Mitchell Trubisky, and I think at this point of the season, I think that the Steelers were already looking at benching actually Kenny Pickett before the firing of Matt Canada. I've seen several reports out there on that saying that the team was considering it. And I think if you're the Steelers now, you got to go with whatever the hot hand is. And if Mitchell Trubisky comes in and gets hot, go with him. If he's bad, bench him and put Mason Rudolph in. Find the hot hand. We've seen it in the NFL over and over and over again. Teams just find that hot hand and go with it. And I think that that's what you got to do. Anybody can play great for a 6, 7 game stretch. They're all professionals. Hopefully, they find which one can do it. And hopefully it spells big things for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they move toward the AFC playoffs. All right, guys, once again, thanks everybody for joining us. Keep coming into the live chat, putting your comments, concerns, everything about the Steelers. I'm live with Sean, the dude on YouTube, and we're just going to continue to do these live shows and hopefully add a little bit of flavor to the channel. And I appreciate you all for watching. So put your comments and concerns. Like the first one is Steelers Freak. Pickett has 6 TDs in 12 games. Let Mitch pitch. Good. Hey, I like that. Good job, Steeler Freak. I like that. That sounded cool. Steeler Freak, I've noticed on the channel a lot. He always gives good comments. He or she, I'm sorry, I don't know which one you are, but you always give great comments, and I appreciate it. Steeler Freak, that's right. Let Mitch pitch, and I think that that's the thing you got to do if you're the Steelers. Let the hot hand ride. If he comes in and he's hot, let him go. Kenny Pickett could be out 2 to 4 weeks or even more. But I think that the Steelers were already considering this change. And do you think that Mitchell Trubisky is going to be able to be steady enough against this defensive front, against this Patriots defense to be able to get the job done? What do you think, Sean? Do you think this is too much of a task for him with an anemic offense that they've shown all season?
No, I don't think it's too much. Mitch can go out there. He's a pro, and he's just got to utilize that run game. You got Jalen Warren handling the ball, and then when it comes time to take a 3-step drop or make the pass, just fucking sling it, bro. Sling
I
that
agree.
ball.
I
Don't be
agree, and
afraid.
no
Yep.
doubt. I agree, and I think that the Steelers, when you said that 3-step drop, it busted into my head real quick. Do those quick underneath throws, those quick slants, those quick outs, those quick ins, whatever they are, whatever you want to call them. Utilize them. Utilize that tight end room. You're playing a Bill Belichick defense that's always sound and disciplined. They've had some games here to where they've been good, and I think people are overreacting to that defense a little bit. They've played some anemic offenses just like the Steelers, but still, the defense for the Patriots always solid, always well coached, and you're going to have trouble if you're Mitch Trubisky, if you're not mentally prepared. Steeler freak, would you put 59-year-old man, 28 years in the Army, old school Steelers fan? Thanks, man. Thank you for your service, Steeler freak. I appreciate that. I'm also an Air Force veteran myself, so I truly, truly appreciate your service. I appreciate you being here on the channel, and thanks for your comments. Again, guys, put your comments in the chat. Here with Sean. Talking about was Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky. Are we going to see Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky struggle? But do you think this Steelers team should lean more on that run game in this game? Considering the Pats haven't let up a ton of rush yards, they control runners well. Do you think the Steelers should try to push the ball down the field to Pickens, Johnson, Austin? Do you think they should do that and really focus on that pass game? Or do you think they should really lean heavy on that run?
I think you should lean pretty heavy on the run game. Not too much, though. You do got to incorporate the pass. That way it's going to open up more of the running. But, like I said, I think Mitch should go out there and sling it when he can and show the coaches, show Steeler Nation, show everybody that he can get the job done. I feel like the glass is half full right here. I'm not feeling like, it's going to be a horrible game. Yeah, it's going to be a low scoring game in a defensive battle. But, yeah, keep the pass game incorporated, but lean a little bit more heavy on the run.
I agree, and I think the Steelers really got to start leaning on that run game more and more and more. Let Jalen Warren get hot. Let him cook. Uh, yeah, yeah, they are Steeler freak. They are killer at stopping the run, and that's where we're really starting to focus here with the Steelers in this run game. But that offensive line for the Steelers, with it being banged up, you're shuffling players around. That left side of the line being a problem with Dan Moore Jr. Isaac Sumalu hasn't been the guy that they thought, at least in my opinion, for the majority of the season. He has moments where he does really well, but the Steelers, with that banged up offensive line, do they run more with tight end heavy packages? Do you think the Steelers team, Sean, comes out in more jumbo sets, more 12 personnel sets, bigger packages with those tight ends? Or do you think they come in and spread it out and try to run out of that formation? Or do you think they just go heavy?
I'm hoping they bring out the tight ends and utilize the bigger formations. I think they got to incorporate the tight ends a lot this week because like Steelers Freak says, the Patriots are really good at stopping the run. I think that they're averaging about giving up 3.3 yards per carry, and but the only good thing about that is if you can break that and maybe get about 100 yards out of our rushing game, which I think Jalen can, you're probably going to win that game because you're going to be controlling the clock and you're going to keep them in the back of the away from our end zone. Eat that clock up and utilize try to work against that because they're going to rely on stopping the run, right? They're going to kind of expect them to come out and pass in there. I say go out there right away and run it right at them, and again, Mitch better get out there and sling it.
Yeah, and the Steelers, I think, don't abandon it early. If you're getting no yards, keep on hammering it because I do think that run game sets up that play action pass. But when you bring up a good point there, time of possession, controlling the clock, do you think that is the biggest reason that we're seeing tons of injuries across the board on the Steelers defense? Do you think that is a major contributor, that anemic offense? Not being able to stay on the field. Do you think that that's really hurting that Steelers defense?
I do. The defense is overworked a lot. They're out there well over half the game. Every team usually outperforms Pittsburgh when it comes to controlling the clock this year, I should say. But yeah, I'd have to say so.
I agree. And I think that that's been a Mike Tomlin thing throughout his career to where he's tried to be that guy that controls the clock, tries to be that defensive-minded coach and tries to be the guy that really leans on the defense. And I think sometimes this year he has just expected a little bit too much out of him. He's leaned on him far too much, and I think that it's really starting to show with the way that the Steelers now are getting so beat up on defense. Minka Fitzpatrick is going to tough it out, get a cast on his hand. I don't think Landon Roberts is going to play. I think it's going to be Blake Martinez and Miles Jack coming in a little bit, but he's going to be coupled with what's his name? I can't even remember. But anyway, the guy that was in there last week with the Landon, whatever his name is. But those 3-4 guys are going to be able to mix it up in there. And I think that they're going to be able to hold that down a little bit. We'll see. They're just so unhealthy. It's going to be so unpredictable. Would the Steelers freak say one more comment here? He said, conservative play gets 9-8, but no postseason success. The O needs balance. They have to put out an acceptable pass O to help the run. I agree. You have to be balanced in the NFL. And the Steelers haven't been that. And I don't know where they find that balance, but is it the play calling, Sean? Or is it the personnel on the field? Is it the execution? Are these guys calling the right plays and the Steelers team just not executing it properly? Do you think that the right system is in place, or do you think that they need to figure it out elsewhere?
Man, that's a good question. I think that the play calling has been there, but we've been seeing drop passes. We've also been seeing missed attempts. Kenny Pickett wasn't going through all of his reads. I feel like it's kind of a combination of things. I feel like the new coordinators, they're doing a pretty good job for coming out there and taking over. I just like to see a little bit more consistency, like you say. They need to. I want no drop passes. Maybe Trubisky can be a little bit more accurate, and hopefully he goes through his reads a little bit more than Kenny Pickett was, instead of just going right to the dump pass. Check down.
Yeah, you got to find that balance. You got to be comfortable. And if you're Mitchell Trubisky, I think that should be number one, numero uno in your head. Get yourself comfortable. Quit worrying about, I have to push the ball here. I have to force it to this guy. If you're the Steelers and Mitchell Trubisky, being comfortable and just letting the game grow, letting your team grow, letting yourself just flow into that game plan and not trying to force things, I think is the best thing. And when Steelers Freak brought that comment up, leaning on the offense, being conservative, or leaning on the defense, being super conservative, that does get you that 500 record. And you do see that Mike Tomlin gives that 500 effort every year. It becomes just hard to watch sometimes. And people in Pittsburgh, I'm not sure if the fan base has become acceptable of just being mediocre, because I sure haven't. I think it's a problem. I think it's a dumbass statistic, that no losing season thing. I just think it's dumb. And I'm not knocking anybody that thinks it's good. If you think it's good, you think it's good. It is whatever. But it just bugs me that the national media plays Mike Tomlin up so much. That brings me to one thing here before we move on. Is it time for Mike Tomlin to be on the hot seat, Sean? Or do you think that the Steelers should just ride him out? Let him go until he's ready to go. In my opinion, I think the Steelers should start to look for some different options. I don't think that there's anybody immediately out there that they could go get, but I think they need to start keeping their eyes open. And I think they need to start pushing Mike into doing and to being different and growing as a coach. What do you think about Mike Tomlin, Sean?
I think they should look into other options as well. It's been how many years of mediocre Mike playing down to teams with horrible records and us losing games that we should never lose, when we should be dominating those games. I want to see blowouts here and there, not always having a freaking heart attack on my couch every single Sunday.
I agree. And I'm going to give you one statistic about Mike Tomlin that some people might not know, and I don't think a lot of people actually know. He actually has an amazing record against teams he's supposed to beat, and it's like 109-34 against teams with subpar records, actually, surprisingly. And what I think is most noticed, and it's noticed by me because I think the same thing, is he loses them in such inopportune times. Do you remember when he was losing to the Raiders every season? It felt like going out to Oakland, a team that has no wins, and getting blown off the planet, And when you had guys like Troy Polamalu and players like that, and just getting crushed. You've seen him lose to subpar teams in the AFC North at times. Usually he plays the North pretty tough, but I think it's just whenever the losses come, they're at very inopportune times, and I think that's what makes people think that. So, yeah, that's my opinion on it. So, but Mike Tomlin, yeah, I think we can agree that Mike Tomlin is still a good coach. He really is, guys. I don't think he's the most horrible coach, but I think he's lost touch with today's NFL. And I think that that's the biggest problem for him right now. I think that he needs to figure out it's an offense first league. The refs call the game as such, and that's just what we're going to have to live with. It's just the way it is right now. All right, Sean, I want you to give me your keys to victory. I'm going to get to your comments here in 1 second, Steelers freak. But I want you to give me your keys to victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers on offense as we move into Thursday night's matchup with the Patriots.
Okay. I think the big key to this weekend's victories is going to be win the field possession. Pittsburgh can't be punting the ball and giving the Patriots the ball at the 40-yard line, the 35. So they only need to go 25, 30 yards before they're in field goal range. I think that's going to be a huge key to this weekend's victory. They got to keep them pinned back there under the 20. They got to. That's going to be a big key, I think, right there. And also utilize Jaylen Warren. Don't go out there and put all the weight on Mitchell Trubisky. Jaylen Warren and the run game is going to help out with this game, and that's what I think would be another key to the victory. Utilize the tight ends, bring them out, set the edge on the offense even. Go out there and try to help Jalen as much as you can with the tight ends, and if nothing's opening up, yeah, hit Muth across the center. Sling it, Mitch. They got to stop the run. Don't let the Patriots go out there and just be running the ball up and down the place. And I say that's a key because we're missing a bunch of inside linebackers, and I see that as a big challenge. So if they can stop the run, that's going to help out Minka in the backfield and our DBs. And then of course I'm not going to keep saying this until they actually see some changes. Convert the third downs and score in the red zone. If they can do those two things along with what I said, I think they have a good chance of winning this game.
I do too, and I think the Steelers' keys, like Sean was saying, that's a big thing is converting in the red zone. We've been saying it now week after week after week, and until they can do that, they're going to have an anemic offense. You can't settle for three down there at the 10-yard line. You just can't keep doing it. You shoot yourself in the foot. You put yourself behind the eight ball all the time consistently. And when you brought up a good point there, Sean, before I move into my keys for the Steelers offense, because they're pretty similar, Presley Harvin. Nobody talks about this. You don't see it out there on all these talk shows often. But Presley Harvin and his inconsistencies, man, he is killing the Steelers a lot of times. He has a great game, and then he'll come out three in a row, horrible games, and that kills the Steelers big time. And when you said field position game, getting them pinning the team down underneath the 20-yard line, doing those types of things, he is the most important piece to that puzzle because when the Steelers punt, and they punt often, we know that Presley Harvin has to be better and more consistent. Do you think the Steelers really have a problem at punter, or do you think that they are just okay to just keep letting Presley go out there?
They got to fix that, man. It's been horrible. It's been hard to watch. They
Yes,
got.
for sure.
I can't tell you how many punts I've seen where the other team's starting right around the 40. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, how bad? And then he's always good for a 25-yard net punt or something stupid, setting a team up in the Steelers' end at the 45-yard line or some dumb things like that. It's just absolutely really super frustrating. All right, guys, I'm going to give you my keys. Let me see what the Steelers freak said here. He wished Tomlin he would have accept change and allow new ACs to really cook on their own to show off their own stuff for a head coaching job. Art has to pay for those stud ACs as well. Yeah, I agree. You're right. He has to let them cook, and you have to let these assistant coaches do their job, and that's first and foremost. You can't have them under your thumb if you're a head coach. Let them shine, and when you do get a bright offensive coordinator, I hate to tell you guys, but they're going to be gone the next season because they're going to be a head coach.
Uh-oh.
Coach. Sorry about that, guys. I froze. I had a phone call. But anyway, that's what everybody's looking for is a bright up and coming OC. and your guy's going to be gone right away. You definitely hit it, Steelers freak. He is bipolar. Boss has to show up. The Pats should attack the middle with the short pass. Yeah, and if they do, they're going to beat the Steelers up because the Steelers are very susceptible. We'll see how Blake Martinez plays, though, when we get into the defense. We'll talk about him a little bit. But my keys to the offense, just like Sean, pinning that field position, making sure that that's one of the most important things on the top of your list, pinning that at the top of your list. Field position, field position, field position. If you're going to go 3 and out, make sure you get it out of your own end. Make sure that you've had a couple plays to where you can get that big booming foot of Presley Harvin, and hopefully he converts a good punt. But I think you need to run the football. You need to lean on it consistently, often, heavy with the run. Heavy, 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 heavy. Let Jalen Warren be in between 25, 28 carries. I think that would be a perfect number for him. I think you need to utilize that tight end room, heavy sets, tons. Be aggressive, be physical. Use those tight ends and be in those big jumbo packages. You can throw out of them, you can run out of them, you can do it all. And I think the Steelers have to utilize that. Those are my 2 biggest things. And I think Mitchell Trubisky has to protect the football and not be the Mitch that we've seen sometimes where he turns the ball over a shit ton. We can't have that. It's a real problem. And we can't see that Mitchell Trubisky. We have to see a steady hand at the quarterback position. All right, guys. If you have comments, concerns, questions, put them in the chat. And I want to bring up one thing here before we go into the defensive keys. Exciting thing for the channel. We hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a big milestone for us, guys. We're very happy about that. That's super cool. Just means more of you guys in the channel. And I appreciate you guys that watch this stuff. I appreciate it so much. I never thought we'd ever hit 1,000 subscribers. I really didn't. But we're growing every day, man. And it's all because of you guys, not because of me, not because of Sean. It's because of you guys that subscribe. I really, truly appreciate it. And the guy that actually gave us our 1,000 subscription is Banky Gaming. He came on and he said, "Hey, Jason, I'm going to give you your 1,000th subscriber." I was like, "Thanks, bro. I appreciate that." And he really hooked it up. So that's awesome. All right, guys. Let me see the comments. Yeah. Yeah, Steeler Freak, you're right on, bro. You are definitely right on with all your comments, man. Yeah, it is. That's the word on the street, Steeler Freak, that Art Rooney is cheap, doesn't pay assistants. That is the rumor, and they do have a very low payroll inside that building for assistant coaches. It's one of the lower, I think, in the league, and I don't really think the Steelers are planning on changing that anytime soon. I really don't. I think Art's pretty cheap in that category. All right, guys, let's move over to the defense. The defense beat up. They're beat up, dude. You have TJ Watt crying in the media about getting held. Sean, do you think that TJ Watt has a legitimate bitch about crying in the media about getting held? Do you think that it's something that's warranted?
Honestly, if I was in his shoes, I would just zip it and not say anything. Keep your mouth shut and just play with the pads. That's the way I was raised. Even it goes for all sports. You don't want to be the guy in the media crying and whining or even making excuses. Just show up, go out there, do your job. Everybody can see what's going on, and just zip it.
Right. And that's what I thought TJ has usually done throughout his career. Let the play speak for itself. And we saw a little bit different TJ here. And I think the frustrations of losing that game to the Cardinals just boiled over, and he said things he probably shouldn't have said. And I bashed Deontay Johnson for his idiotic behavior. And I'm going to bash TJ for his because what's fair is fair. And TJ Watt, I think, should have kept his mouth shut, kept his nose to the grindstone, and continued just to work and not worry about that outside stuff, not worry about the things you can't control, and just fight, man. Things will happen and good things will come, and that's just the way it is. And I agree with Sean. Just keep your mouth shut, man. And that does go for all sports. You don't want to be the guy whining. You don't want to be the guy crying all the time. No one likes that. I coach youth sports, and the first time you cry on me, I can probably forgive you. The second time, I'm going to start to wonder if you're just a baby, man. I ain't into it. But and I got good kids. They don't cry. I got some tough kids, man. These kids will get their butt slammed down on the basketball court or getting jacked up on the football field. and they just come up and shake it off. I see more adults cry than I do these kids half the time. I do got great kids, man. It's awesome, but tough kids. Um, yeah, I agree. Yes, Steeler Freak also agrees with us. He says, I appreciate you commenting, Steeler Freak, so much. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I appreciate that, Steeler Freak. Sorry, I was just reading those, Sean. But anyway, guys, let's continue to talk about this defense. Beat up badly. Uh, Steelers have to figure this out. They don't have a choice. What do you think? Blake Martinez, Miles Jack. Somebody give me the name of the other linebacker that's in there with that was with the Landon Roberts last week. I can't think of his name. Please, somebody put it in the chat. I'm like drawing a huge blank. But anyway, do you think, Sean, do you think that they've put the pieces together here through picking these guys up that were retired, through practice squad guys? Do you think that they've put enough pieces there to solidify that spot enough to wait for an Landon Roberts to get back and just muddle through? Or do you think that they're going to be far too susceptible to those over the middle passes, run game type stuff to where they're going to get beat up and destroyed in that area?
I think they're going to get beat up, but I don't think they're going to get destroyed. If that makes any sense, they're gonna have to go out there and learn the hard way here and there. But I think that with Miles Jack, if he can get things clicking, he's a veteran. He can pick up on the game and start making some reads and make some plays for us. I don't think it should be too big of a problem. I think it's the inside linebacker, crew has been kind of a problem ever since Holcomb went down. And but with the right preparation, they should be able to do just fine. Go out there and do their job. They only got to take out one lead block, or they got to drop back and they got to cover one zone. It's just they got to just do their job. Don't panic. Just go out there, listen to what the coaches are telling you. Don't be like
Mm-hmm.
Deontay and get inside your own head.
Yeah, I agree. Do your job. We preach that every week. Stay in your lanes. Do your job. Take care of your assignment. The Bill Belichick way, I guess, that they always called it up in New England. Do your job type thing that they always preach. But that is so true. That's what you have to do. Do your job. And these guys, I think, sometimes get overly concerned and get crazy with being the hero and get out of their assignment. And that's what kills a defense, especially a defense. You have to do your role. You have to play with inside your assignment. And if you don't do that, you're asking for real trouble. Yes, Steelers Freak said the lack of green dot communication is evident. And they look desperate. Yeah, I agree. No communication. You're falling apart. Oh, Pennsylvania. I like that screen name. Thanks, bud. That's awesome screen name, dude. What Robert Rhodes say, color AKA stay between the lines. Yeah, stay between the lines. I get it. I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say there, Robert, but you can put it in there exactly what you're trying to say. Sorry, buddy. I'm just trying to read everybody's comments. It's hard to decipher sometimes, but I appreciate you commenting for sure. We were talking about the lack of communication, lack of green dot guys. You've had them all go out, man. And the Steelers Freak brought that up too. When you have no communication, you lost Minka there for a while on the back end. Bad communication back there. I still don't think they had it back last weekend against the Cardinals. I think it was still rusty, but now I think that defense is going to struggle again with the communication. But a veteran like Blake Martinez, a guy that's wore the green dot before in Miles Jack, everybody forgets that he's wore the green dot. Do you think that that's going to be enough for them in terms of communication with those two veteran players? Do you think the communication will get under control, Sean, or you think that's still going to be a problem?
I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think that if anything, they might even mic up, give the green dot to Minka. Have him out there letting everybody know. He's got plenty of experience. He's out there. That's one of the leaders. Let him do it.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are on the green dot wearing it. Maybe you could give it to a guy like that. I know they've let TJ Watt wear it before or something, I think in like preseason or practice, and he said he hated it. I'm not sure exactly though. Yeah, that's what Steelers Freak did say that. He said that when you said that, he said that Minka should wear the green dot. I don't know what the rules are, guys, on that. I think he could do it. I mean, why not? I don't think it would be a problem. I'm not sure exactly though what the criteria is. Let's talk about that Steelers secondary now. They're going to be facing a very anemic offense in the Patriots, guys. This offense can't move the ball. Bailey Zappi sucks ass. what's the other one? Who else do they have there? What's the other quarterback's name? And
Mac Jones.
yes, he sucks ass. That's why I keep forgetting his name. They have no quarterback play, absolutely none in the Patriots organization right now, at least in my opinion, and they deserve that because they cheated and they have Tom Brady for so long. They deserve to have a little bit of time without a quarterback, assholes. But anyway, let's get back to the defense. Joey Porter Jr. I think he'll be locked down again. I think Trenton Thompson's being a nice breath of fresh air mixed in with Minka and all those guys. Do you think this secondary holds up against that Patriots team? And do you think that, or do you think that they don't have that communication and actually get beat up a little bit by a weak Patriots offense? Or do you think they'll play well?
I think the Steelers are going to play all right. They're going to do enough to get the job done. They're going against the worst team, the worst offense in the whole NFL. They're the lowest scoring team in the NFL. They actually they had 0 points was it the past 2 weeks or just last week?
Yeah, it's a week or two. Yeah, they've had like no points in like a long, long time. It's been brutal for them for sure. What they gave up 6, the Chargers, and they scored 0. That was the final score of that football game, 6-0. So yeah. But what were you saying, Sean, about that secondary? What do you think?
Well, yeah, which is why that's important to pin them in the back. Pin them behind the 20. Make them go all the way up the field to score because we know that they're showing signs that offense is the worst in the NFL. And if we want to win this game, keep them back on their field position. Try to shut down the run because we know Joey Porter Jr. is going to be locked down, and I think that's going to be a huge key to the game. And yeah, I think the defense is going to do okay. I don't think it's going to be that big of a problem.
Yeah, Steelers Freak just said, when you feel down, go to the Pats podcast and listen to DEFCON 5 fans. We are still normal. Yeah, dude, it's bad times in New England. And a lot of fans in the New England area, the Pats fans, are calling for Bill Belichick to either be fired at the end of the season, which is a shocker. And I don't know if they do that, but they could trade Bill Belichick. They might be able to get something out of him. And that might be the thing. I know a lot of people were calling for the firing and the forced retirement of Mike Tomlin here also. So I think these two fan bases are kind of in the same realm of disappointment right now and not very happy with their lead guy. And hey, it's normal. And when you look at the NFL, when you're a head coach for about 10 years on a football team, the media starts to turn against you. Everything starts to just turn against you. And it's just a natural progression. First, and Mike Tomlin's been here almost 20 years now. So it's going to happen. Bill Belichick has been there for 1 billion years now. So it's going to happen. All right. Anything else? Let's talk about the return of Montravius Adams. Keanu Benton dealing with the oblique injury. I'm not sure if he'll play. But Mon Adams, do you think he'll be able to just step right in and the Steelers won't miss a beat there in the defensive front with Larry Ogunjobi, Cam Hayward, and then Mon Adams returning?
I think it's going to be it's going to help out a lot. I think that the Patriots are going to have a hard time running the ball as well, obviously. So it's going to be a great low-scoring game, and I think with him coming back, it's going to help gel things a lot better.
Yeah, and that, guys, hey, there ain't much to talk about with the Steelers defense here. They're riddled with injuries. We all know that. But this offense they're going against is just what the doctor ordered. They're not very good. And I think this is a good time the Steelers defense could just settle in with a decent game and maybe overcome some of those injuries a little bit, maybe continue to get healthy. And hopefully they'll be more intact come the Indianapolis game next week. We already talked about Presley Harvin. I wanted to talk about him on my notes, but we already had talked about his poor play. The Patriots offense, Patriots defense. We know the Patriots are weak on offense. We know their defense is ranked among the league's best. But we're going to give some score predictions and what we think is going to happen in this game here. And Sean, be my guest here and go first with what your score prediction is and explain a little bit why you got there.
I think it's going to be a Steelers win, 20 points to 16. Steelers take over the Patriots. I see the Steelers kicking at least 3 field goals and maybe 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 passing. And as far as the Patriots, like I was kind of like worried about our punting game and position of the field, and they're going to be kicking some field goals. So I think they might get one touchdown and the rest field goals, which is how I came up with 16. So yeah, I'm thinking Steelers 2 touchdowns, one passing, one rushing, the rest field goals. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they score a lot more.
Well, you gave him a lot more credit than I did, especially after the Cardinals game. I'm going to give my score prediction and tell you guys why I think so. I'm going to say this game is 9-0 Pittsburgh. I think the Steelers do win. And I've been wrong. I picked them against the Cards, and I had to put my foot in my mouth. But I have to pick them again against the Patriots, and I really actually don't want to. The offense sucks ass, and the defense is beat up bad, and I don't want to pick them. But I think they're going to be able to pull out a win against the Patriots. But I still think the offense struggles. I think the defense performs to the best of its ability. But I think the Steelers are able to control it with the run game and keep that defense off the field. Move down into the red zone, and that's where I think they're going to stall yet again against a tough Patriots defensive front. And I think that's where they kick field goal after field goal. And I think we're talking on the next show again about how they cannot get in the red zone. And I think it's going to be one of those Chris Boswell type games. If you guys remember the playoff game in Kansas City, where Chris Boswell put up every point the Pittsburgh Steelers had, I think, in the whole game. I think it was like every point, and they had like 16 or 18 or some crazy shit like that. You know, that's the kind of game I think it's going to unfold. So if you like offense, this isn't going to be the game for you to watch. And I think last Thursday they had record-breaking numbers for the football game on Thursday Night Prime Video. But I'm going to tell you what, I think they're going to have one of the lowest numbers ever because I don't think people are going to tune in to watch a defensive struggle. I think they're going to tune out. I think it's just going to be the Steeler fan base, Patriots fan base, and that's it, man. I think people are disinterested, and that's why the league is going in the way it's going. All scoring all the time, massive amounts of penalties. I just think that's the way they're going. And that's my score, guys. 9-0 Steelers. So we have Sean picking them to win. What'd you say, Sean? 20-16?
Yeah.
20-16. Sean picks the Steelers to win. I say 9-0. I pick the Steelers to win. If you guys have any more comments or questions or anything, hurry up and put them in the chat. We're about to get off here. What else did you say, Steeler Freak, on the chat? I say Steelers win. I live in Vegas and won't be on them too risky. I agree, Steeler Freak. Yeah, guys, put your stuff in the comments also if you have predictions of the score. Steeler Freak says the Steelers will win, but he ain't betting, and he lives right down from the house, the betting house. He could go there and do it. You can bet so easy now, which is crazy on your phone and everything else, and gamble all the time if you want to. Yeah. So, anything else new in your life, exciting, Sean, that you want to talk about before we get off here?
No, nothing outside of Pittsburgh. I'll just keep it all Steelers talk here. I do want to say that I'm going to be like I usually am. I'm going to stay positive, and I expect to see Mitch come out and swing it. That's what I want
to see. Oh, AK Davis, you just got here. Yeah, sorry, man. You got here late, bro. Hey, thank you, brother. We appreciate you, AK. You always give good stuff on there. What's up? Robert Broad says, I can't see the game going over the total 29.5 without multiple defensive scores. I hope we win. I think, too, Robert, you're exactly spot on there. If the Steelers and the Patriots score gets up to be high, I think there will be some defensive scores in there. I think that's the only way possible for it to get high. I really, really do. Otherwise, it's going to be a lower scoring game. All right, guys. We're going to get off here. I appreciate you all again. Thank you for the 1,000 subscriber mark. We appreciate you so much. Sean and I are going to continue these shows each week, bringing you these live shows. Hopefully, you guys start to enjoy them and start to come in a little bit more and get more people watching. And we really appreciate it. Yes, Steelers Freak, Mitch throwing TDs would be absolutely epic, and you'll be dancing around like Sean was just a second ago, going crazy, being nuts. We'll start doing these shows too, guys. We'll try to do them like 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. for you guys that are heading home, driving home from work, a hard day's work, give you something to listen to, something to bullshit about. So we're going to continue to talk Steelers. Again, we appreciate you, everybody. And we're going to be signing off here. Sean, anything else? You good?
No, thank you guys, and thanks for listening. It's always a lot of fun.
Thanks, Sean, for coming. I appreciate you coming. Sean's been a great addition to the channel, guys. We appreciate him stopping by, talking Steelers, bullshitting about our team. And until next time, guys. Peace.
Later, guys. Steelers! Woo!
Let's go.